Was a girl running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
Every time I use the word Tesla in a report, Sir Charles's headphones start to smoke a little bit. But I hate to do this, but I got to, because I knew this was coming. And Tesla's not the only one, though. See, they want to make you think it's Tesla, but it's not. Tesla owners have just one option: getting their cars serviced at the company or a network of Tesla-approved service centers using only Tesla parts, according to the lawsuit. Tesla was sued by customers who claim they've been forced to pay exorbitant prices and endure long waits to repair their cars due to the company's monopolization of replacement parts and maintenance and repair services. The antitrust case seeking class action status was filed Tuesday in a U.S. District Court in San Francisco, where else, on behalf of Virginia M. Lambrix, who lives in Sonoma County and owns a Tesla Model S. She says owners of traditional combustion engine cars have multiple options for maintenance and repairs, or do the work themselves, actually. And those repairs can rely on parts from an original manufacturer or parts made by another company, according to the complaint. Well, Chuck, I got to ask you this, and Tesla's just the first that sells outright. They have their own repair center. They have their own parts. I can't see all these electric vehicle manufacturers, and that's everybody. I mean, that's all of them. You almost have to go back to that dealer. That's the only people that are trained, unless they have certified service centers out there. They're not offering any kind of that extra training to the aftermarket. I mean, I'm having my guys going to school now for hybrids, but the electric is not available yet. And you don't want to mess with that electric car if you don't know what you're doing.
And that becomes the core of the question is, do you create a new type of mechanic that's more of a hybrid mechanic electrician? I guess that's the question, is a guy that's trained classically on internal combustion, can he go to a class for a weekend and learn everything he needs to know? Or does he need to be
I don't know how long
retrained?
it would take.
Well, and that's the question is, so you've got a couple of issues here. The first is obviously people like you, in order to stay relevant, you need to start getting into the electric vehicle service and hybrid service and things like that. But also then, on Elon's side, they have to decide, are they, as I was asking you during the break, I said, can I go to AutoZone and buy parts for my Tesla? Can you buy parts for a Tesla if somebody came in? Even if we're not talking about, I know I was talking to my friend, I mentioned the other day about they had body damage. They needed all these special sensors. So like if a Tesla gets damaged, can a normal body shop do the work without needing to go back to Tesla to get calibrated? There's a lot of unknowns here, but to Elon's defense, he has to be careful, because if he just lets anybody buy parts from AutoZone and they electrocute themselves, that's going to be a problem.
Or the sensors don't work and the car crashes.
And the car goes backwards like my friends did.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Well,
so there's a lot of unknowns here. And I think ultimately, like any corporation, his goal is to not get sued.
Well, yeah, the goal is to keep from a lawsuit. Right. I agree.
Or somebody dies and something like that.
Exactly. But for right now, I don't think I want parts from anywhere else, and I don't think I want anything but genuine parts.
Right.
I'm even afraid of the braking parts, like brake pads and rotors, because Tesla does use regenerative braking for energy to charge the battery. So that's all got to be, everything's got to be just so. Plus, you mentioned the sensors and like a body work, having a crumpled fender. Oh my God. I mean, the front end alignment's going to be $1,000 next time you go get it, because they're going to have to align all the sensors first, or align the car and then align all the sensors.
Right.
I would think that's the way they do it. But there's side view, front view, rear view, detonation sensors, noise sensors. That detonation sensor is noise. There's just there's any toll number. Can you imagine being the State Farm agent that insured this guy?
Right. Well, and that's why in a lot of cases, like in Tesla's case, they're self-insuring because they're having so much trouble with insurance.
Well, how about a guy that he owns a Tesla and he crumples the fender?
Right.
It's $25,000 to fix a fender.
Right. But also, in this case, though, Elon is not going to be able to, or Rivian or Stellantis or anybody, they're not going to have the network. They're never going to have the network that a Ford or a Chevy does, where you've got a dealer in every town. So he needs to look at that. Again, you're going to have people in Wyoming buying Teslas. Who's going to work on them and how?
Well,
He's not going to want to
exactly.
drive 2 states over to get his Tesla worked
Look
on.
how long did it take GM, Ford, and Chrysler to get dealers in every,
Right.
Honda and
But
Toyota.
also, I mean, anybody could drive into your shop with a traditional vehicle and you could probably work on it, and that's the thing, is that this is a whole new animal. And the question is, chicken or the egg kind of thing. Are you going to learn how to fix it first, or are they going to, come to you and say, we want to teach you how to I don't know.
I doubt that they're going to say they're going to exploit, or they're going to go in and provide us with anything
Right.
for free. It's not going to be voluntarily. They're not going to be happy. The government's going to have to tell them they have to let us have right to repair. If in fact you can be trained to repair these. I mean, somebody has to be trained.
But even if they win this lawsuit, now what? Now they've won the lawsuit and other people can work on the cars. None of them are qualified to.
They're not qualified.
You're not going to want your guys to work on a car unless they've taken the training.
I guarantee you, I cannot pick up the phone and call the local big box store and say, hey, you got brake pads for this Tesla? No,
Right.
they don't.
Right.
Can you order them? No, I can't. They're not going to bother. They're right now, that's the cart before the horse. But this lady is jumping the gun, because for right now she should be going back to the dealer.
Right.
This is where she should be. They should use factory parts. They should use factory trained technicians for right now, until everybody in the aftermarket has had a chance to even know what these cars are all about and learn to fix them. Not just fix them, looking up parts in a catalog or on a computer to find the right part for this Tesla can be a challenge, I'm sure.
Well, and that'll ultimately, we've talked about right to repair a couple of times now, and this becomes the question is, traditionally in this country, guys like to change their oil and like to change their brakes and things like that.
Absolutely.
Is it safe for a guy to watch a YouTube video on how to change his Tesla brakes and do it himself anymore without being exposed to potentially fatal electric current?
Exactly. I don't think, at this point, I don't think you should be touching that Tesla. I don't think anybody should until it's all known, till the facts are all known. I mean, by everybody, not just the Tesla certified technicians that they have. I think Ronnie's got a friend that's a Tesla technician, goes all over the area.
Yeah.
And
They
it's
probably
fine.
make house calls at this point.
Well,
right?
they do, yeah. That's what they have to do, because they don't have a garage to
Right.
fix them, and they don't have but you're going to need a service center. You're going to need the service center. You're going to need aftermarket service center for one, if not for cost, if not for availability and cost, time. You go to a dealer, think about have you ever been to the dealer for repair on your car, Chuck, under warranty? It takes forever.
Well, and even, we talked about my friends with Kias. As soon as they found out the recall was an option, I said, call right away, because they're going to have a month lead time to get that part fixed. In the meantime, you're going to have to worry about your car getting stolen.
It is a month. It is a month, waiting to get in to one of those dealers. It's just it's that bad. I know some of the dealers around here are 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but some of them are a month. And it's just, right now, she's biting the hand that feeds. She needs Tesla worse than Tesla needs her right now, because she bought one.
Yeah.
She needs this arrangement of people that are certified Tesla technicians to come out and do what kind of repairs she's going to need. And even if they have to do them in your driveway, who cares? It's kind of very unprofessional. I wouldn't think a technician would want to be trained to work certainly not to work in a driveway in the Midwest. Not this time of year. Jeez.
Right. That's another question unto itself.
It was absolutely miserable today. If you jacked the car up on the floor jack today outside, it would have blown off the jack.
Yeah.
It was terrible out there. So yeah, this whole, well, I can't go anywhere else. Well, guess what? You bought it. Now deal with it. Just deal with it. That's just the way it's got to be. All right. Well, I didn't know this, Chuck, but guess General Motors, for the longest time, has been forcing their dealers to sell subscriptions of OnStar on all their Buicks and Oldsmobile or Cadillacs, and this General Motors will stop building a $1,500 OnStar subscription into the price of all Buick and GMC vehicles. So you're paying for it, no matter, you were getting them no matter what. I don't use OnStar. Instead, making the safety and connectivity service standard only on high-end trims, but optional on most other models. In other words, GM is going to put it on the big-time GMC models and the big-time Buick models, but not on the lower models. It'll be an option. And they can give you OnStar with an over-the-air update. No, right. I don't think they have to.
Yeah, it's satellite-based.
Yeah, it's satellite-based, so they don't have to. They don't even have to plug anything in for you. At the beginning, they were building the $1,500 OnStar subscription right into the price of the car, whether you wanted it or not. I mean, I understand safety issues. I understand that you need anti-lock brakes, right? You need anti-lock brakes. You need power steering. You need crash sensors. You need a backup camera. These are all safety items. But this is, it could be construed as a safety item if you were lost or something like that. I personally just try not to get lost, I don't listen to I just don't do it. I just don't use OnStar.
Okay, well,
satellite radio.
Right.
I don't listen to satellite radio ever.
So let's go back to the last couple of weeks. We had the discussion about Volkswagen and the poor woman that was carjacked. So same question though, is that, if I don't subscribe to the service, I guess the first question is, are they doing this in response to what happened with that? I don't think so. It's related, but also, are they also putting policies in place where if I buy a car from you and I don't have the OnStar package and I call you and say my child's in the back seat and, we need to find the car, are they going to do it? Or are they going to charge you $500 for it?
Well, yeah, and then Volkswagen, of course, wouldn't even tell them where the kid was. I remember that.
Right.
story.
But I'm saying, so we followed up with that and said that they decided they've turned tail on that one to save face, and they've said we're going to offer it for free. So this is kind of the same idea, is that they're not going to give you the option to have OnStar, which is a lot of features. One of them is the GPS, the rescue feature. Kind of that idea, like let's say I crash my car and I'm literally bleeding to death and I hit the OnStar button. They say, sorry, I got to pay the $500 before we'll help you. Is that, I don't know. Does that happen?
I don't know if that's ever happened, but you know what? That wouldn't surprise me.
If the only thing I have left to do is push the OnStar button, they say,
that
give
would
us a credit card number
surprise me
first.
one bit.
So that's the question, is how would that go over?
That would, like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
That's just not going to do it. Get it. And I'm telling you.
So hopefully these other companies have learned from the Volkswagen debacle that, if somebody needs help, they're not going to say, give us your credit card before we help you.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, that can't work. That's never going to work. The OnStar, I don't know that I would need it, but to make you buy something like that, I don't think that's correct either. We've been talking about all the different things going on in the car world, and there's some genuine junk going on in the car world. Stuff that we don't necessarily condone, but stuff that I just got to tell you like it is, and here it is. And I got some more for you. I have plenty for you, actually. Rivian. Remember I told you I was all down on Rivian, and everybody was telling me, hey, give them a chance. They're a startup company, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw that they had Ford and Amazon backing them. Whoa. Well, Ford Motor Company and Amazon, right. Now, Amazon informed the EV maker, the electric vehicle maker, it wanted to buy 10,000 vans this year, which was at the low end of a range it previously asked Rivian for. Electric vehicle maker Rivian Automotive said its largest shareholder, Amazon.com Inc., are in talks to end the exclusivity part of their electric van deal. The Wall Street Journal reported on Monday, citing people familiar with the model. In other words, they can't just buy Rivians, or they don't have to just buy Rivians. Online retailer Amazon had placed an order for 100,000 electric delivery vans from the Irvine, California-based electric vehicle maker Rivian in 2019 as part of the company's plans to cut carbon emissions. It has taken deliveries and inducted the EDVs into its fleet with over 10 million packages delivered using the vans. So they're out there. My guy that delivers my Amazon at my, everybody that delivers Amazon at my place has an electric car or electric van. A Rivian spokeswoman told the Journal, "Our relationship with Amazon has always been a positive one. We continue to work closely together and are navigating a charging economic." Well, let's just hope Rivian doesn't lose Amazon. Or Amazon, yeah, because they're, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Uber and Lyft, their shares are smoking hot. I wish I would have known this, Chuck. We should have bought some Uber and Lyft. Shares of Uber Technologies and Lyft Inc. rose on Tuesday after a California court ruled that drivers can be treated as independent contractors rather than employees, removing some future regulatory risks for the rideshare companies. Analysts expected the decision will likely be challenged. Of course it will, before the California Supreme Court. Isn't that the Raisins or something? Yeah, which could take months to decide whether to accept the case and over a year to issue a ruling. Yeah, that's the fruits and nuts out there in the Supreme Court. For now, though, the ruling means companies like Lyft, DoorDash, and Uber have avoided a substantial hit to their earnings. I mean, the drivers want to be treated like employees, Chuck.
Right.
They don't want to be contractors. They want insurance. They want benefits. They want,
and that was one of the things that happened with, they called it sort of the gig economy and the gig economy laws that, once California passed it, of course, then other states like them would start pushing the same thing, is that a lot of people didn't understand when they got into this that, you're getting a check with nothing taken out of it. And then a lot of these people thought they're making a lot of money. And then at the end of the year, they all of a sudden get a surprise that they owe a lot of money.
Here's your 1099. Yeah.
Right. And you're not contributing to any sort of retirement or anything like that. So that was always the idea was, did people understand what they were getting themselves into? And sort of, the idea is it government's job to make sure that, you have those benefits? I guess my opinion's always been, you're making a deal with whoever, you should know what you're getting into when you're dealing with Uber or Grubhub or whoever.
I would say Uber and Lyft especially would know that when they indoctrinate people that sign up to be drivers for Uber and Lyft, they have to explain to them that you're going to pay taxes on this eventually.
Right.
You're not just getting all this money.
And I think a lot of them have you go through a training course, and I think that's part of the process.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It has to be. It has to be because they have to know. They're not giving in to Social Security or anything.
Right.
So they got to come up with a bunch of dough at the end of the year.
And of course, states like California, they need that money. So if you're not paying into it, they need it up. They want it. They need it.
California, they want you to pay now. They want you to get right in there and pay.